So what war was Alfred like a secret operative in now? Have they said that, or is that just not a thing anymore?
He's just like an ex-SAS guy now, I think. I always thought it would be neat if a comic book universe started, and I actually suggested this to my friend Jim Shelley, who does the Flashback universe, who me and Chad have written some comics for. He wanted to sort of capture like 70s Marvel. So, I mean, he has a character who's kind of like Nova, he has a character who's kind of like the Hulk, his character who's kind of like the Thing. And I suggested to him that he create a fictional war that would be as important in this universe as World War II was in ours. And just have it 10 years ago. So that, you know, Ben Grimm could always be a fighter pilot in World War II. Or that, you know, Alfred could always fight the Nazis. And I kind of like that idea. In practice, like, it would work if you were doing like 3 comics that never came out. But in practice, like for a shared universe, I don't know if it's... I mean, it just becomes another piece of continuity where, you know, they do a flashback to Secret Wars and everybody is dressed in their disco outfits. But I always thought that would be kind of neat. Just a neat idea.
That's what Brian Azzarello is doing that with First Wave.
Oh, is that what he's doing with First Wave? That sounds awesome. Yeah. But he's also setting First Wave in the past.
No, it's like a weird.
It's a weird.
Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, it's the present. They have cell phones and crap, but there was a war a few years ago.
So it's just like Batman the Animated Series, where they had the awesome Art Deco 90s, which I wish had happened, but never did. Anybody else? Did you have one?
Yeah. How long do you think we're gonna have to wait to see another haunted vagina in comics?
An actual haunted vagina, or the equivalent of a haunted vagina?
Yeah, like something that bad. Because did you go to your store last week?
Yeah, right.
I have the weirdest thing that I have seen. The 2 weirdest things that I've seen since like I had achieved a small level of internet fame. One, there was a message board thread where people were really excited about Solomon Stone and had like Solomon Stone user icons. Yeah, that blew my mind. They were like quoting it. They had like their signature files were quotes from Solomon Stone, which I thought was awesome.
Actually, those were all me and Ken.
Oh, jerks.
We wanted to help you.
The other one is that the phrase "haunted vagina" has now entered the comic book lexicon. Like Hibbs used it somewhere, and
someday it'll be in a comic. I mean,
how awesome is Jim Ballant? That's his job. That he just gets up in the morning and does that all day. It's great. I don't know if there will ever be something that hits me quite like that did, where it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And like, do you guys? I assume everybody here knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a comic book that I hate/love/hate/love again. Called Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, which is by Jim Ballant. It is problematic on a number of levels. Not the least of which being that its main character, Tarot, is a terrible superhero, and her boyfriend is also a terrible superhero. Like there's an issue. Like the one thing that like every time I think like, oh, this is more funny than it is bad. Like there's an issue where she fights her male counterpart, who is her. Like there's the human world and the magic world. And she's the sword maiden for the human world. Like she's the one who protects the human world from magic. And her counterpart is a dude who lives in the magic world who protects the magic world from the human world. Fine, we're good. Taro's costume is a bikini with thigh-high boots with spikes, skulls, and chains, and high heels, and pentagrams.
She's like Spawn.
She's like Spawn.
Yeah.
The other dude is basically in like Blue Boy. Not Blue Boy from Dragnet, Blue Boy the painting. Like Renaissance fair outfit, completely covered with like a hat and a mask. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. Like that dude should be like Namor.
Yeah.
And she has a sword fight with him at one point, and he's way better than her at sword fighting. And also, he's so much better than her that not only does he disarm her, he is able to remove all of her clothing with the sword. And then she gets like super aroused right before he's about to kill her. And I'm like, there are some weird gender politics in this issue. But there's one issue where that Taro's not in, where
there's also the 9/11 firefighter.
There's the 9/11 firefighters issue,
Ghosts
where Taro saves New York from being blown up by a nuclear weapon implanted in a woman's humongous breast implants. Which is a crossover with Jim Ballard's other book, Three Little Kittens, which was solicited as an all-ages adventure. I swear to God. And the villain is, it's about a team of secret agents, and the villain is one of the former secret agents who was jealous because the girl who became the leader had bigger breasts than she did, so she went and got these super huge nuclear implants. All ages adventure. Look, find the ad. I swear that's true. So she's gonna blow up New York, and it's like, haha, you know. But it's, you know, it's obviously meant to be funny. But then at the end of the issue, the ghosts of the firefighters who died on 9/11 come back to disarm the bomb. And that's what I looked like. I was like, are you serious? And that has been like, that was one, but that didn't come back around to brilliant. That was just crazy.
Yeah, tell them the best part.
Oh yeah, there's this one issue where Taro's boyfriend, John, who is a superhero called the Skeleton Man, who is the world's worst superhero.
Taro and her boyfriend are like Sailor Moon Tuxedo Mask gone horribly wrong. Like,
they really are.
Yeah, that's how I always think of them.
Yeah. His ex-girlfriend is a ghost named Cryptchick, who is the only character in the book who has never been naked, because I think her clothes are part of her ghostly form.
They can't fall off.
They can't fall off. And like his superpower is that he talks to ghosts. So, like these 4 nurses who are supposed to be real nurses but are dressed in like sexy nurse Halloween costumes show up at the crossroads to talk to him. And they're like, yeah, you know, when we died, our organs were harvested. We used to carpool to work together as the sexy hospital. And we were in a car crash, and our organs were harvested by evil organ harvesters. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Long story short, one of the women had somehow, I don't even know if this is a medical procedure that exists, she had like had a vagina transplant. Again, I have no idea. I long since stopped trying to figure out the science of Jim Ballard. But, you know, so they're going back basically to reclaim their lost body parts. And there's one woman who had like collagen injected in her lips, and so they, like, the ghost show up and cut off her mouth. Which is horrible. But the worst one is the skeleton man busts through the window of this woman's house, and he goes, "You have to get out of here. Your vagina is haunted." Which is the worst and best line ever written in comics. Because you will stop and you will not forget it ever. And then they end up, I don't even know what they do, but then at the end of the issue, and this is the worst part. Like, that's bad, but it's perfectly in character with the book. At the end of the issue, the ghosts are like, there's 4 of them. And so they've gotten 2 of the women that they're trying to get their body parts back from. And at the end of the issue, they're just like, yeah, we're going to go get those other 2. And he's like, no, I'm going to stop you. And they go, no, because we're not going to tell you where they live. And he goes, damn. That's it.
Thank you very much for coming, everyone.
Thanks.
If anybody has any more questions, we're down at the booth, table AA 633.
Or on the internet.
Or on the internet.
ComicsAlliance.com.
Every Friday, you can put them on Twitter with the tag Ask Chris, or send them to ComicsAlliance@gmail.com. And I will answer your questions if you're not Chris Haley.